Hi guys, a warm welcome to another episode of Ask Shane. This video is brought to you by the Academy of Holistic Mediumship in working partnership with www.shanegad.com. So got a real interesting question for you this week, one that I feel that so many of us would have explored, touched, connected with and even tussled with. And the reason why I think we would have tussled with it is because it's one of those things that comes up within spiritual development that seems to be a holy grail. It seems to be shrouded in so much mystery. It seems to be something that is, really aloof, and there's some secret ingredient that we're all missing. And actually, in fact, it isn't. It's a far lot more simpler than that. In the conversations that I've had with Spirit and the Innate, it is so much more simpler, and hopefully within this video we're going to really be able to kind of explore that and strip away some of the layers to this, which, without a shadow of a doubt, that is the core aspect of the work that we do. Spirit and I, the relationship we have, is all about just stripping everything back to its core, to its heart, to what has substance, what is real. So within this video, hopefully we're going to be able to strip some of that back. But it has been, I think, a tussle for so many people. Is there something missing? Is there something that I'm not doing correctly? Is there another technique? Is there more than one technique? It's a question that I think so many people have asked themselves, and wonderful that Angelise has taken the time to write to us. A wonderful lady who's been a subscriber here on the channel for some time. So thank you, Angelise, for this wonderful question. So her question is, hello Shane, it's been a while. My question, whenever you have a chance, is there more than one method of meditating? Hence why you're heard me say, that it seems to be the holy grail. It seems to be that one question that comes up in spiritual development time and time again. Is there something that I'm doing wrong? Is there a secret ingredient? Is there something I'm missing? Is there more than one method of meditating? Spirit, way they kind of see this is, the thoughts that I've had about this is, I think for so many of us, we try too hard. So many times I heard people say, I've tried meditating, it doesn't work. I've tried, but I've given up. I've tried, but I don't get nowhere. It doesn't work for me. I think the key with all of this is it's that sense of trying. Okay, so Spirit have often said to me, it's not about trying to meditate. It's about being. It's about doing. And what they mean by that is that when we're trying, we're applying ourselves. When actually, what we just need to do, gently understand that there's not a right way and a wrong way. There's a way. Okay, there's not a right way, there's not a wrong way, there's a way. And what they're talking about here, instead of gently trying, so sitting there trying really hard to meditate, is just be. Okay, just be. Just breathe really deeply, gently close those eyes, and just be. Just observe. Just allow. Because I think, especially modern day living, it moves super fast. I've spoke about this so often, and the more I shift with my own personal shift, a little bit more about that towards the end of this video, but the more I shift within this personal shift that I'm in, the more I kind of realize and understand that we have really come away from the art of being. Everything in modern life is about doing, and doing some more. It's all about constant constant stimulation, constant kind of noise. So I think we've lost the art of being, we've not lost the art of just doing, and we're overthinking it. And that's the other thing, it's like, well, I sat there for 2 or 3 minutes and nothing happened. Well, if nothing happened, then that's a good thing. You're moving into that space, and it's about gently moving into that space. I remember talking to a wonderful, or hearing a wonderful gentleman speak a good few years back, and he was talking about sit spots. And sit spots, what they are is places within nature that you would return to, somewhere that's quite familiar, and you just sit and you immerse yourself. Now the key word there is immersion, and it's something that later in this year I am going on an experience on woodland immersion and tracking. And one of the things that he was talking about is that when you return to this sit spot, each time you return and you sit, you just sink a little bit more deeper into the fabric of the environment, the fabric of the surroundings. So rather than becoming separate from it, you become a part of it. So you immerse. So with meditation, it is about immersing yourself, and the way you immerse yourself, it's almost like seeing yourself step into water, is you step into it. And with meditation, if you were to gently close your eyes and take deep cleansing breaths and just be and allow all these thoughts that are moving around in your head to begin to unravel. We have come away from instinct, intuition and feeling. We are programmed to think. So we've lost contact with self, and through feeling. You think about children, how they navigate their world and how they express their world is through feeling. I feel this, I feel that, I feel, and it's all kind of this language that is surrounded by feeling and expression. And I think that here, I feel, it's hardwired in there, isn't it? I feel that, and I do think it as well, I feel that, it is so much more simpler. And I think that if we can just simplify our approach to meditation, then we get there. So what I really encourage anybody that wants to either go back into meditation or pick up meditation or start to work with it is just say to yourself, I'm going to do either 10 minutes in the morning or I'll do 10 minutes in the evening. Just keep it that simple to start with. And every other day, to start with. And I'm just going to set an alarm very gently, maybe on a mobile device, on a phone, that when that alarm goes off, it goes off very gently, and I'm just going to sit. And I'm going to close my eyes, and I'm just going to breathe, and I'm just going to observe. It's about observing, and the more you kind of immerse yourself, the more that this slows down. So think about at the top of the video when I was talking about, people say quite often, I've tried it doesn't work, my mind's still very busy. We've got to give things time. We've got to allow this noise to begin to unravel. I know that when I walk into a woodland environment, one of the things that I do when I find the heart of that forest or the heart of that environment, somewhere that I'm going to sit and make fire and prepare food, create a home for the time that I'm there, one of the things I do is I almost, I kneel down, I place my hands gently on the ground, and what I'm actually doing is I'm just allowing myself to become at one with the environment that I'm in. I slow down, all my breathing slows down, and what happens, I shift from being an outsider into that environment to becoming a part of that environment. And I think that the more we consciously slow down, the shift that I find myself in is that I am becoming an ambassador for what Spirit called that big bold life. We're not just designed to survive, we are designed to thrive. And one of the things that I feel we gently need to remember is who we are, how we're designed. We're designed to be and do, in the sense of coming from being, but we've moved into a time where so many people are just moving. As a good friend says, you're either moving in time, you're moving through time. So many people move through time rather than moving in time. And I think that, so many people kind of stirring and waking up and saying, I can't do this anymore. They've lost sense of self. And, meditation is about reconnection to self. Think about, as I said, the expression of children through feeling. I know my little one, he's been riding a bike since he was 4 years old, off stabilisers, no surprise there with all that we do. And he recently was saying, I love cycling because when I cycle, everything becomes shiny. Everything becomes loud, but not loud, Daddy. And I'm looking at him and really feeling his words, and everything becomes shiny. Everything becomes enhanced. And he's so within the moment. Children are, that he just drops into that. He's moving through moving through school, and the things they're teaching him, the approaches that they have, which starts to become about thought. It's about thinking. Think about maths. It's thought. Yet he's starting to discern the difference. And I think that's it's fascinating. And I think the more that we gently just strip away the complication to our meditation, the more effective it becomes. But at the heart of it, it's not about trying, it's about doing and being. Okay, so it's about doing and being. Think about the fisherman, watching that float. When he's fishing, he's gazing, he's just allowing, he's just being. Think about those moments when you are daydreaming. Think about those moments when you're gazing out the window. I think we need to bring more of that into our lives, and reconnect to that. I know that when I'm down at my little plot, and I'm working and I'm doing all what I'm doing, I should lose sense of time. That was the other thing little one said. It's like time doesn't exist, Daddy. Absolutely in the moment. These are powerful things that I think as we get older, we kind of lose touch with. So hopefully that has stirred up some thoughts. So the approach, I would say to you, there's probably 101 different ways to meditate. And when it comes to spirit contact, one of the first things I learned is that if I'm quiet and I become aware of self, then I can become aware, and I have a good, solid, strong sense of self, then I can become aware of what is making contact with me. I can become aware of what's going on around me. Really important points. Angelise goes on to say, are there spiritual laws and principles when communicating, working with spirit? Is all information is information? Know that contact can be really, really subtle. Is there laws and principles? I kind of feel that it's about just approaching everything with heart. It's approaching it with respect and kindness and compassion. at times can mean solid truth. And I think solid truth is love. Truth is love. Um, and sometimes, even if that unearths things that we may not want to grab hold of or look at, it can be the most kindest of things. It can be the most loving of things. Um, I was only working last night, and I said to a lady, I I see, understand. I've just got a nudge then. I see you in a real sense of a void. The metaphor that they're giving me is that as if you're deep down in a well, and what you've been trying to do is you've been trying to climb out of that well. You've been scrambling up the side of that wall, and you've been fighting yourself to try and get out of that well. But you know what happens after a while is you exhaust yourself, and then you surrender, and then you lay in that well for some time, and there's a part of you that almost, you know, just kind of dissolves. There's part of you that dies, and then you're almost reborn. It's like the phoenix from the ashes, and then you climb out of the well. Sometimes it's about trying to gently embrace where we are, and that is not always easy. But not to force things. Try not to force things. Um, and that's something I've really recognised. Again, it's layers and layers and layers within this last year. I find myself in a major shift, um, which over the coming weeks I'm going to share a lot more with you, to what that means, what that looks like going forwards. Um, but what I've really recognised is to flow with those shifts, flow with those changes, and you hear so many spiritual teachers talk about that. But I think that there's a lot of miles in that, and sometimes it is. It's just kind of really listening to that deep sense of self. So spiritual laws and principles. I think the more that we become aware of self, which is what meditation is about, the more that we can recognize what's going on around us and within us, which is why I recognize those shifts and those personal shifts that I find myself in, and how important it is to honor them. I know, and I can really sense where they are taking me, and you might have a set course in mind, and in a way sometimes they reroute you, and I look back on that now because I know I've been rerouted in a really powerful way, and me following it, the most incredible and amazing things that have happened in my world, even within the last 2 or 3 months, and I kind of look at that, and knowing that if you kind of get out of the way of that and you just kind of gently trust it, the most incredible things can happen. But it's when we try and force things, and it's same with the meditation. Don't try, just be. It's like being on that sit spot, and it's all about dropping into the fabric of the environment that you're in. That you and it are not separate. You become almost a part of it. You become at one with it. And what we're talking about here is becoming one with self. So what is the intention of the meditation? There's a good question. What is your intention for the meditation? Hopefully that stirred up some thoughts, and I'll be catching you real soon. And in the meantime, as always, keep shining.